Today, I'm talking about decision fatigue. This is something I had never heard of until I saw a video about it, or maybe I heard a podcast where some moms were talking about all of the decisions that they have to make on a daily basis and how it was completely exhausting. And I realized that this is something that really applies to homeschool moms. We are the ones who hold all of the answers during the homeschool day. And our kids are coming to us with questions about all different subjects, or questions about what's for lunch, what's for dinner, what are we doing after dinner, can a friend come play? There are just constant questions, and you are just bombarded every day with question after question. And I don't know about you, but I'm just tired. It makes me really cranky, and sometimes I just tell my kids to stop asking me questions and just give me a little bit of a break, because all I do is try to come up with answers to all of their problems, help them with all of their different subjects, and I'm constantly just trying to determine what I should tell them. So I have determined that I have decision fatigue, definitely as a mom and also as a homeschool parent. This means I am just completely done with making decisions. I don't want to make any more decisions. So I have been taking some steps to really help me fight the decision fatigue. I put some plans in place to really help me limit the number of decisions that I have to make. This means that I have planned out some aspects of my day and of my week. And so here's how I've really simplified things to give some of my brain cells back. My brain needs a break. So I have implemented a meal plan rotation. So we have a theme for dinner each night. One night might be soup, one night might be a chicken dish. One night might be like a Mexican dish, or noodles like an Italian dish. So I have a schedule for my week where we have a different theme for each night, and we have multiple menu items that are my kids' favorites that fit into each category. So I create a weekly plan, and I have several of them. So I have several different weeks already planned out with a different meal on each day that fits into our theme, and I have grocery list for those meals. So it can be the week 1 rotation or week 2 rotation, and I already have meals planned. So this ensures that we have a variety. We're not having chicken several nights in a row. And we also have a rotation through some of my kids' favorite recipes. And yes, I have gone through and chosen the ones that the majority of them will eat, because right now I have some little ones, they can be picky eaters. So I have just tried to keep things simple and tried to choose the top recipes from each category that they will actually eat. And I've created that meal plan rotation with a grocery list. I've also created a weekly family calendar. So every weekend, my husband and I sit down together and go through our calendars, and we plan out our week. So we know what activities our kids are in. I know if he has any late work meetings, anything that might be different for that week. Then I write it on a weekly calendar that is hanging in our kitchen so that my kids know what they're going to be doing each day during the week. Of course, the plan may change, and I can always write in new items on our calendar, but for the most part, we can follow our plan, and this means they're not asking me every day, what are we doing today? Are we going somewhere? What are we doing tomorrow? Nope, it's on the calendar. They know what activities are coming up that week. So we plan on Sunday evening around the dinner table. After my husband and I have met together and gone through our calendar, we write out our weekly family calendar, talk through it with all the kids, and put it up on the wall. I have also done something that I said I would never do, and I have chosen more open and go curriculum for our homeschool. Some of the things I use are online distance learning, online classes, digital classes, or things that kind of come in a box with the textbook, the workbook. It's all there. We just open it and get started. This means that I don't have too many options to where I'm overwhelmed and having to make multiple decisions. I also don't have to make complicated curriculum plans. We can just do the next thing, or they're already planned out for me. And I'm able to just open the curriculum and go. I don't create my own lesson plans. I don't create my own curriculum. I choose things that have very clear directions, and even curriculum that my kids can do on their own that are a little bit more self-directed. I always buy the manipulative kits or any supplementary kits for the curriculum. Yes, it's more expensive, but it has completely saved my sanity. I like everything there ready to go. If I have to go search for science supplies or different math manipulatives, alternatives and try to find them, go buy them somewhere. It's never going to happen. So I try to choose things that are all there in a box, or for my older ones that have some digital components so that they have some things that they can do on their own and the things are already planned out for them. So I'm not having to do all of the planning. I also spend my summers planning out our homeschool year. This does not mean that I make a very detailed plan of what we're going to be doing that school year, because that plan always changes. It never works out well, so I don't plan day by day. I give myself kind of a broad overview. So what I do is I look at each subject for each child and I see how many lessons or pages are in that particular subject. I think about how many weeks we want to be doing school, and I do some division and I see, okay, so how many lessons or pages do we need to complete each week of our homeschool year in order to finish in time? Then I use sticky notes that are numbered, and I put the week 1 sticky note at the goal for week 1. So wherever we want to be at the end of week 1 in that curriculum, whether we need to do 5 lessons, so 1 lesson a day, or maybe we need to do 10 pages of that workbook, whatever it's going to take to finish by our goal, I put my tabs there so my kids know the goal for each week. By the end of week 1, they should have reached week 1 sticky note. And I just flag all of our curriculum. And I put a little sticky note on the inside that tells me, 5 lessons per week. So I just kind of know the goal and they can know it as well. So if I need to move sticky notes or readjust, I know where I started and I know how I can readjust. So that is my simple planning. It just involves doing a little bit of math and determining how much we need to complete on a weekly basis in order to meet our goal. Sometimes we fall a bit behind, so I need to readjust the sticky notes. Other times we get further ahead and I realize, oh, my kids can actually do 6 or 7 lessons because they're motivated to finish early and have more of a break in the spring. So that's fine. I just move the sticky notes and they do more each week. It also gives me the flexibility if we have a sick week or a day or more, or we need a day off, I can easily move those tabs and I have just replanned our year without much stress. I also create a daily schedule for our homeschool. There's a lot of controversy about having a schedule. Some people feel it's way too rigid, but for me, I have to start with some form of schedule. It eventually changes throughout the first month or 2 of school, and then it just becomes kind of our homeschool routine, more of a daily rhythm. So my kids know what comes next. We don't always follow the exact times. Some days we need to spend more time on math or less because my kids are moving through it more quickly, but they know that first is math, then is our language arts, and they know which kid is supposed to be working with me and when they're supposed to be working independently or helping with a younger sibling. So we just kind of create our daily rhythm. And it becomes a habit. So we try to keep each day the same so they know what to expect. So I'm not constantly having to try to remember the schedule, remember what comes next. We just know. I do start off posting it on the wall and eventually it just becomes our rhythm to our homeschool day. So I don't have to think about it. I also create a daily work checklist for my kids. So they have a list of what they need to do independently and also a list of things to do with me. And then usually there's some independent work with that as well. So I just create a list of what they're doing with me independently and they can check it off each day. So I'm not having to ask them, did you practice your piano? Did you do your math lesson? Did you do your grammar assignment? No, it's on the checklist and they can show me their completed checklist at the end of each day. So many of my kids use a digital checklist either on their iPod or computer so I can go through and look at it and then they can uncheck it for the next day. And some of my kids prefer to have a written list that's laminated and they can write on that as well. I also have a chore list so each child knows what their chore is in the morning, afternoon, and evening so they kind of know what they need to do, because I was assigning chores to my kids and then forgetting who I had asked to do what, and then things wouldn't get done and I was frustrated that the dishes didn't get started or maybe the laundry didn't get switched and I couldn't remember who was supposed to be doing it. So I simplified it and certain children are in charge of certain chores. And I have it all written down so that I don't have to try to remember who is doing what when. They already know. So it just becomes a daily routine for them because they know what they need to do. So all of these systems took some time to work out and put in place. But now that we have them, I do so much less thinking and decision making during my homeschool day because my kids are able to do a lot of these things independently without direction from me. So it really is worth it to sit down and really take some time to evaluate your homeschool, evaluate your meal plan, your chore list, and create a system that will work in your family. And yes, you will have to tweak it a lot, but it is still much simpler to have a plan in place than to try to change things up every day, make all of those decisions, because there will always be extra decisions that come up on a daily basis. But some of the core decisions are already made for our household and for our homeschool, and that means that I have more time to focus on working with my children and taking them to their activities, and I don't have to worry about if things are getting done or what we're going to eat for dinner or how many lessons they need to complete in math. It's the same every week. We have our rhythm, we have our routine, and this has really helped simplify each day for me and for my kids. So I would love to hear what systems you've implemented in your homeschool, in your household, that really help keep things running smoothly. I have 7 children, so I have really had to plan things out and really find ways to simplify because I was getting very overwhelmed. So I would love to hear what is working in your home and your homeschool, so you can comment below.